Good morning.
Good morning.
Today's reading is from John chapter 13, verses 31 to 38. Jesus predicts Peter's denial. When he was gone, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will glorify the Son in himself, and will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Simon Peter asked him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus replied, "Where I am going, you cannot follow now, but you will follow later." Peter asked, "Lord, why can't I follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Then Jesus answered, "Will you really lay down your life for me? Very truly I tell you, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times. The word of the Lord for the people of God.
Thanks be to God. Before we go to the message, I would like to talk about rooster. Rooster is that bird, small, and they have more than one quality. Ones that come from Africa are very small, like this, and other places they have bigger, like this. And Jesus said, before the rooster does what? Crows. I always thought it was the rooster in the morning. And reading a little bit more, I found out that in Rome, there was a cornet that they would play. The name of the cornet was Rooster, because they would play that 12 a.m., 3, 6, and a guy helped me to understand that when Jesus was talking before the rooster plays, he was saying, before that guy plays the hornet that looks like a rooster, you are going to betray me. And that early it will happen, connecting with the hour. The ministry of Jesus was perfect in time, announced in the Old Testament and happening in each time, like if the Lord were managing this world with his hand, moving it from time to time. People say that's impossible. Well, the probability of that to happen is 1 in 1,000. However, when it is in the Lord's hands, it happens. Yes. It happens. Now, the scientists are saying yes. There is a timeline for the universe to end. And we don't know when, but we can see that sometime it will happen. And this whole entire universe is going to crash one time. So, these things that the Lord made are not eternal. And it is so important that Jesus was so concerned in fulfilling the project of the Father that he gave one more thing that is fundamental to people, for us not to miss the point, which is love. Love is so important that he says, if you don't love, you cannot understand the kingdom. The former President Ronald Reagan, people said he would not be a good president, and people said a lot of things about him. And there was a joke when I was in the past century that Back to the Future, when you were younger as well, did you see that movie with Michael Fox?
Yes.
And when he goes to the past, he says something to that scientist, and the scientists look at him and say, "Oh yeah, And Ronald Reagan, the actor, is going to be the president of the United States as well in the future. He said, yeah, that happened as well, yes. But look at this, what his guy said when he was a president here. He was talking a story about, in one of his meetings with the administration, and it was about Alexander Dumas, author of The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo. Dumas and a friend had a severe argument, a heated argument, and it got so out of hand that they challenged each other for a duel. You know what duel is? Well, both Dumas and his friend were superb marksmen. Fearing that both men might fall in such a duel, they resolved to draw straws instead. Whoever drew the shortest straw would then be pledged to shoot himself. Yes, Dumas was the unlucky one. He drew the short straw. With a heavy sigh, he picked up his pistol and trudged into the library and closed the door, leaving the company of friends who had gathered to witness the non-duel outside. In a few moments, a solitary shot was fired. All the curious pressed into the library. They found Dumas standing with the pistol, still smoking. And then he said, "An amazing thing just happened," said Dumas. "I missed." We can miss as well if we don't get the picture from Jesus when he says, "Love one another." It's amazing to see how many people in church today miss the message. It is a huge history from the Old Testament to the New Testament. We have thousands of years over there. And sometimes we focus on one thing and not in the other. And in what really matters. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I loved you, that you also love one another. By this all men know that you are my disciples, if you have loved one another." First of all, that was the main concern that Jesus had for his disciples. He said, you need to love one another. We need to keep in mind that they were fighting each other to see which of them would be the first in the kingdom. Can you believe that? Jesus was concerned with the cross, and they were talking to each one. Who is going to be the first to sit side by side to the Lord in the kingdom? Which one of us is more important? Jesus told Peter, one day you will face this cross, but not now. It's not your time yet. Dealing with people is tough. I come from a large family. I had 9 brothers and sisters, and my mom adopted the 10th one. It is tough. You can imagine how tough was in a dinner time. My father hired a guy to make a table for all of us to sit together. It was longer than this one. The kitchen was large. And he had 5 chairs here, 5 chairs here, one for my mom and one for my father. They had fought for anything you can imagine. Anything. One loved Steelers, the other one loved the other team from New York. The other one was Cowboys. We were fighting for anything, even for that thing. That one got the bigger steak than the other one. And he said, well, I wanted that one. So we were a family, an Italian loud family. And to deal with people, I can tell you, it's hard. Back to Charlie Brown. Did you used to see that cartoon in the newspaper? Well, Lucy stands with her arms folded in absolute expression on her face, while Charlie Brown pleads to her, Lucy, you must be more loving. This world needs love. You have to let yourself to love to make this world a better place in which we live. Lucy looked at him and said, look, blockhead, the world I love. It's people that I can't stand. So we go back to Jesus, love one another and move on. Which means stretching our love, which means tolerating things that we usually don't tolerate. And showing tolerance for everyone, each one. Marco and Anna used to fight every day when they were children. Every day there was a fight. When he was talking in a short words, quiet in his room with his friends, she would come and listen at the door. That would make him very angry. And when the therapist asked her why she was doing it, she looked at her and said, oh, I am so curious, and they are talking so soft. I want to hear what they are talking about. And on the other side as well. And one day I read an article about children who fight a lot. Well, the article said when they fight a lot, give thanks, because when they grow up, they become the best friends. Marco and Anna are their best friends. They don't do anything without talking to each other. So, why love is so important? And is it easy to show love? No. In California, there was a researcher, an anthropologist, who found a child who was not loved by his mom. She did not want to have the child, and he grew up with chicken. Yes, in the backyard with the chicken. And he did not know how to speak. He was 7 years old, he did not know how to speak, and he acted like a chicken. Yes. And this guy found out that whoever does not receive love have a hard time to learn how to love. We love someone because we were learned on how to love. And Jesus is the fount of love. He is the one who told us, because I loved you first, I offer you an opportunity to love. So the source of our love is Christ. Because He loved me first, I can share love. I can tolerate. I can move on. And yes, I make mistakes. A lot. I will give you one. I was a pastor of the largest United Methodist Church in Brazil. Yes, large. And I was trying to park in the parking lot of the church. And there were 2 lanes, but to go into the parking lot was tough because the gate was very short. So we had to go to the other lane to swerve. Yes. And a guy behind me was honking, honking, honking. You know what the stupid Paulo did? I came out of the car and called him to bring it on. And I told him, come on, come on. Maristela came out of the car, and the guy, thanks to God, had more sense than I. He speeded his car and left the scene. And after that, Maristela looked at me and said, Paulo, can you believe what would happen if you had fought that guy? What would happen in the news? There was a very, very aggressive TV guy in Brazil, in that city at that time, that was like that guy from Ohio, Jerry something, very sensationalist and very tough. She told me, can you believe you would be in that program, someone showing your picture? And I told her, I would be famous in this entire world. Everyone would know Paulo. Yes, to deal with people is not easy. But Christ teaches us how to handle that and how to move on. Sport Illustrated talks about Tom Chambers, who played for the Seattle Supersonics. And the Sport Illustrated say that this guy was always angry. Like that guy from Steelers, who was the champion of our Steelers, leading Steelers. And when that guy from Steelers was giving interviews, we would call him Mad Dog, because he would answer the questions from the reporters as if he were fighting them. So this guy, Tom, was known because he could not smile either. One day this guy went to his place to talk to him. He found out that his father used to play a game, always putting him down. Would never come to him and say, good job, but say, you did not do that, you did not do that, it's not very important, you could do better. And he could never learn how to be happy with what he did. It brought him a lot of trouble with players, with people, with reporters. The only one that can teach me or that guy how to be happy and to share love, even though he did not receive love in his home, is Christ. Christ is the one who can show him love first. Christ is the one who showed that God can do anything to stretch his arms and reach whatever is needed to save the one he loves. And he's so concerned with that he tells Peter, love my sheep, love my people, and then you will be able to help them. Because Peter was that strong man, dealing with fish and with the nets in the ocean. A guy who wanted results like this. And then he had to learn that it does not happen like that. So Jesus had to give his own life on a Calvary to show how far the Father could go to win Peter and to help Peter to go over what we see in this world. Our love for one another is our primary witness to the world. My mother taught me that. A guy killed my uncle when I was 3 years old. My uncle was a cab driver. And in the early 60s, he got a trip to take them to another town. On the way, they killed him to take the car. At that time, it was a great car. It was a French one made by Renault with the name DKV. And today we see a car 1.2, we say, it can't go up to the hill. Yes, it was like that, but it was the best car in that time. And when they caught this guy who killed my uncle, she went to the prison, faced the guy, told him, you killed the only brother I had. And I had to adopt his son because he did not have a father, and he is growing with my family. But in the name of Jesus, you are forgiven. I can tell you how tough it is because I don't know if I would have that strength to say it to that guy. I don't know if I would be strong enough to face a guy like this and forgive. But she forgave him. And she allowed him to live. And he ended up to be killed in that prison. But it was not by the name of my mother or my father. It was for something he had inside there. He learned the importance of forgiveness. Forgiveness is to move on. And love is what moves my life. If I don't have love, I cannot move on. I don't pay the price. I don't tolerate things I would not tolerate. I would not help someone. I would not live and enjoy life. Can you believe that? Some people eat something and they don't enjoy what they are eating because they are in a hurry to do things. Yes, to live is something very important that requires love for Jesus and for ourselves as well. If I do not love myself, how can I love someone else? That's very important. So I make exercise. I take care of what I am eating so I can eat well. I take care of and plan to have a nice sleep during the night. So I go to sleep at the time that I need so I can have a better day tomorrow. I don't make dumb things that I am aware of. Of course I make other dumb things, but I try to be more careful so I can take good care of myself. There was a teacher that Jeffrey Holland writes in his book. He says, this preschool teacher was facing a tough time. Her mother died, and her mother was her best friend. She went to the funeral, and when she came back to school, she was angry. And she was not treating the children as nicely as she used to be. She came like a good soldier entering the classroom. The first day, it was about what she expected. And then she saw a little child, a challenging child, named Rachel, that she was being disruptive and throwing the paper out of the garbage can. And then the teacher looked at Rachel and said, can't you see that you are doing something disruptive? And Rachel answered to her, Mrs. Terrell, she said, what is a mother like? Because Mr. Terrell said, I am angry because I lost my mother. And she asked, what's a mother like? And she said, mother is like a loved one. Mother is like you use it to be, Mrs. Rachel. A mother likes to be with her children. And Mr. Terrell said, I'd like to be with children. I am just facing a tough time because my mother passed away. Rachel said to her, what do you mean she died? The mother said, she died, she's no longer with us. Rachel looked at her and asked, did she live until she died? And Mr. Terrell answered, of course, my dear. All people live until they die. Rachel interrupted her again and said, no, Mr. Terrell, some people seem to die while they are still walking around. Love is something that gives us the opportunity to see God in everything we do. Back in the day, you know, I am from the last century, like you guys are. And we saw that movie, The Color Purple. Did you see that movie? There was a person depicted Sophie's experienced kindness in a dark time. While deeply affected by that dark time, looking back of those people who were showing her kindness, she said, I was them. I knew that there was a God because a person showed her love and God. She forgave her father, who was a preacher at the Baptist church, and herself. And Jesus said, by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, that you love one another. So how about you? Like Alexander Dumas, have we missed the point of it at all? The primary requirement that Christ asks of us is that we love one another. We love because He loved us first. How can someone tell if someone lives close to Christ? By their love. Love is our primary witness to the world. May the Lord bless you.